I am Laura Wolford, and I teach 6th and 7th grade math here at the middle school. And I am so excited that Aaliyah came back. Aaliyah, you're in what, 10th, 11th?
Yeah.
10th?
In 10th grade now.
10th grade. I had Aaliyah in math lab, and Aaliyah is a great student. Math didn't always come easy for Aaliyah, but Aaliyah worked very hard, and that was always rewarding because many times kids just get frustrated and want to give up, and Aaliyah didn't do that. So I'm excited to have her back and that we can enjoy talking about math today.
And I'm Aaliyah, and welcome to Math Talk, where we will be getting up close and personal with Mrs. Wolford and learning all about her awesomeness and while doing math problems. Mrs. Wolford, tell us, when did you know you wanted to teach math?
I will actually say I knew I always wanted to be a teacher. I really love working with kids, and so that was the first thought that I had. And then, of course, I was really good at science and math, so it was pretty easy to say, how about I get a math and science major? However, I will tell you that when I first got hired here, right after graduating from Central Michigan, go Chips, I actually started here teaching science. And I developed a lot of the curriculum. They were more in demonstration mode, and I brought the heart dissection and lots of fun experiments, but I felt like I had done all I could do in science. And so I said, I would love to have the experience of math since that's my other major. And I have been teaching math now for about 14 years and love it. I have a new challenge every day. I rarely use the same things each time I teach because the kids bring different information, and it's just great. I love the logic and the process of thinking through, looking at problems in different ways, and just the great activities that we can do that bring into math. So I would say I really love math, and I just am so excited that I get to teach that every day.
Cool. So, when you were younger, was math or science ever that hard to you?
I would say math and science were always easier than, let's say, English. I am not the best of spellers, so spelling was probably always my downfall, and writing more than math and science. I always tended to go towards them.
Yeah, I was bad at spelling too. All those spelling tests. Okay, so let's take a break and we're going to go do a math problem because, of course, you are a math teacher, so.
That sounds great.
All right.
All right, so we have been, in my math classes right now, we've been talking about volume. Do you remember volume?
Oh, volume. Terrible volume. It has to do with geometry, obviously.
A volume of a cube, well, first of all, if it's volume, right, we have units cubed. So if there's units cubed, there must be 3 dimensions that we're looking at. Do you remember the dimensions?
No.
Length
Length
times
width
times
height.
height.
Flatland.
Fantastic. So it would be 8, and this is 6, and this is 11. So what would be the volume of this cube?
Length times width times height.
Got it. So 6 times 8 is?
I don't know.
48 times 11 is
Oh, I get a headache just looking at this.
528. Of course, don't forget your units. Units cubed.
So do you mark the people down if you forget the unit?
I do, because you need to have those units that tells us what you just did. As we know, area, of course, squared units and so on.
Yeah.
I do.
Mrs. Wolford, I saw you ran a 5K recently. Tell the viewers how that was.
Well, that was a very interesting experience because I decided that I needed to be healthier and to help alleviate stress and anxiety. And so I thought, well, I would start with, it's called Couch to the 5K. I still feel like many times I'm on the couch versus working the 5K, but it was a goal of mine to go and actually run a 5K and see what I could do. So I took the program and did baby steps all summer long. And by the end of the summer, I was able to run it, barely, but I did. And so my husband and I ran our 5K, and after all was said and done, he still beat me, which was frustrating because he didn't practice at all summer, and I did. But that's okay. I did go, and it was a great, fulfilling opportunity for me. I wish to say I still run all the time. I like to think I do, but with 3 kids at home, it's not always the thing that I have the priority to do. But I like doing it, and it was great goal to achieve.
Cool. So, if we could figure out how to figure out what your pace was, do you know what the formula would be for that?
Well, from here, we have the total time that I ran, which It's not fast, but it was fast for me considering I literally never ran before, which I would say 5K race is 3.4 miles. So that would be around 12. I'd probably run a 12-minute mile, if that. Probably, maybe even longer, but we'll just go with 12. That would be around 36 minutes to run, divided by the distance, which is 3.4 miles.
Yeah.
And then divided by 60 seconds. Oh, I forgot to actually times it by 60 seconds too in there. And so we figured my pace was around 10.5.
Okay. So to wrap up things, what do you hope to accomplish when the year before the school year is over?
Well, the units that I'm finishing right now with my 7th graders, we're just finishing 3-dimensional figures. We're looking at surface area and we're looking at volume. With my 6th grade students, we are finishing up right now talking about also geometry, looking at basic angles and adjacent angles and so forth. So we hope to finish that up, and then we begin the review process for our end of the year tests that both 7th and 6th graders take. 7th graders, though, it does count a little bit more of a grade than it does for 6th grade.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so I have one last math problem for us, and it kind of is involved with what you guys are studying, but it's more on the geometry terms. So, a circle has an area of 49 pi square units. What is the length of the circle's diameter?
Well, the formula would be pi area equals pi r squared. So what we know is we know the area. So our goal then is we're going to be doing some division so that we can figure out what the radius squared is. Is that correct?
Yep. So let's go work on the
Plug in what we know. We know area is 49 pi equals, how do I find it? Pi r squared. I'm going to divide to get rid of pi. And of course, whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So now I'm left with 49 equals r squared. So I'm going to take the square root, and r equals 7.
Okay, Mrs. Woodford, thank you so much for everything that you helped me with.
Well, you are so welcome, Aaliyah. I hope that this really was insightful, not only for you, but for your class and doing your math project. I hope you get a fabulous grade because you deserve a great job. And Mrs. Murphy, good to see you. Hope you're having a great year and that it ends well.